Ever wonder how a simple breakfast from the streets of Manila could conquer the heart of Los Angeles? This is the story of Ramon de la Cruz, a man who started with nothing more than a worn-out frying pan and his mother's recipe for Tapsilog. Back in Manila, outside a busy bus terminal, Ramon's humble food stall was a local treasure. In a city buzzing with fast food giants, his little cart was an unlikely survivor. Every morning, long before the sun rose, he would serve up a plate of comfort: beef tapa marinated overnight, fried to perfection alongside fragrant garlic rice, and crowned with a flawless sunny-side-up egg. It wasn't fancy, but for the tricycle drivers and early morning office workers, it was a taste of home. Ramon never dreamed that this very breakfast would one day spark a global sensation. But his journey to glory was paved with hardship. When his cousin in Los Angeles offered him a chance to migrate, Ramon saw it as his ticket out of poverty. He sold his cart, borrowed money, and flew across the Pacific with just a backpack, a few precious spices, and a massive dream: to open a small Tapsilog diner and introduce Americans to the real taste of a Filipino breakfast. At first, Los Angeles seemed like a dream. The streets glittered, cars moved like silent ghosts, and the air was thick with the smell of burgers and ambition. He found a job washing dishes in a local diner. The work was tough, but it was a start. Every night, after his shift ended, he would secretly cook Tapsilog for himself in a quiet corner of the kitchen. The familiar aroma of garlic and soy sauce was his only connection to home. One evening, his boss, the diner's owner, walked in. She sniffed the air, her face a mix of curiosity and disgust. "What's that smell?" she asked. Ramon smiled nervously. "Just beef tapa, ma'am. It's a Filipino breakfast." She wrinkled her nose. "It's too strong. You'll never sell that here. Americans like subtle flavors, not whatever that is." Her words stung, but he held his tongue. He needed the job. He channeled his hurt into determination. With every paycheck, he saved up, eventually buying a rusty second-hand food truck. It wasn't much, but it was his. He painted it bright red, proudly plastering Tapsilog King on the side, and parked it near a university in downtown LA. He began serving his breakfast plates to Filipino students who, like him, missed the taste of home. Business was slow. Then one day, a group of popular American vloggers showed up. They were known for trying weird international foods. They filmed him cooking, zooming in on the sizzling tapa and laughing at the strong smell of vinegar and garlic. "Guys, this is like sweet beef with egg for breakfast," one of them joked into the camera. The video went viral, but for all the wrong reasons. The comments were brutal. People called his food strange, oily, and third-world food. A few days later, he found his truck vandalized, the tires slashed. His heart shattered. He felt defeated, ready to pack his bags and return to Manila. But as he was cleaning up the mess, an old Filipino lady approached his truck. She reminded him of his mother. She ordered a plate of Tapsilog and ate it slowly, a soft smile playing on her lips. When she finished, she looked at him and said, "Don't stop, hijo. This taste, it's what we miss. Don't let them shame what we grew up with." Her words were like fuel to a dying fire. Ramon decided to fight back, not with anger, but with excellence. He enrolled in a night culinary course, learning about Western plating, food safety, and how to describe complex flavors. He learned to explain that the tapa's sweetness wasn't just sugar. It was a sweetness born from love and tradition. He perfected his garlic rice until it was flawlessly fluffy and sourced higher quality beef. Tapsilog King was no longer just about serving breakfast. It was about serving identity, pride, and history on a plate. A few months later, another food blogger found his truck. But this one was different. She was genuinely curious. She filmed his story, his meticulous process, the beautiful sizzle of the beef, and the steam rising in the LA sun. She titled her video, "The Filipino Breakfast America Needs to Try." This time, the video exploded. The tide had turned. People weren't laughing anymore. They were lining up for blocks. Hollywood actors started posting pictures of themselves eating Tapsilog. Food critics compared it favorably to steak and eggs, some even calling it better. University students created the Tapsilog challenge, turning his food into a viral sensation. The same vloggers who had once mocked him reached out, begging for a collaboration. Ramon simply smiled and replied, Sorry, I'm fully booked. Soon after, he opened his first brick-and-mortar restaurant, the Tapa Revolution, in Koreatown. The walls were decorated with portraits of Filipino farmers and street vendors, the true heroes of his cuisine. He served Tapsilog on elegant black plates, each accompanied by a small card explaining the dish's origin story of resilience and family. Glowing reviews poured in from the New York Times and LA Eater, calling his food a dish that bridges continents. Filipino Americans would eat his Tapsilog and weep, reminded of their childhoods and the sacrifices their parents made. The smell of frying garlic was, for them, the smell of love. In less than a year, the Tapa Revolution expanded across California, with long lines from dawn until dusk. Tourists from around the world flew in just to taste the Filipino breakfast that conquered LA. Michelin even featured it as a must-try immigrant dish redefining America's palate. But for Ramon, the true measure of his success wasn't the fame or the accolades. It came one quiet morning as he stood by his original food truck, now a permanent monument outside his flagship restaurant. The sun glinted off its red paint, and he smiled, remembering his mother's hands marinating beef in a small bowl. He could almost hear her voice. Feed them with love, and they'll understand. And they did. That day, a young American boy and his father sat down to eat. The boy took a bite, his eyes widening in delight. "Dad," he said, "can we have this again tomorrow?" The father smiled. "Sure. What's it called again?" Ramon wiped his hands on his apron, his heart full, and said proudly, "It's called Tapsilog, the breakfast of the Philippines." Thank you so much for watching Ramon's incredible story. If you were inspired, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories of passion and perseverance. We'll see you in the next one.